We don't want to lose the story.
Okay, great. I'm Chingy Chen.
I'm Abda.
And we are here talking to
Adele, McCrank.
And where do you live?
I live a block away from here.
George Gross, and I live maybe about 10, 12 blocks away.
And we just had dinner at Agape, and we're having conversation. And so just a few things. We're collecting stories for the Oral History Project about Thurston Wood. And we want to know a little bit about your lives here and about your interaction with the neighborhood and the community here, and especially
the places around the neighborhood, because we're studying the neighborhood.
And so these interviews that we're collecting, we basically are collecting them so that people who are interested in studying the neighborhood, or maybe the past history, will have access to it. So what you share tonight isn't confidential, and that it will be it's for the purpose of sharing, and we want to let you know that. But if there's something you say that's sensitive, that later on you're I said it's not confidential. Okay. We want to let you know that anything you say that might be sensitive, you could tell us later. You know what? I don't want you to share that.
So then we can just remove it or something.
Okay. So that's there aren't really too many risks. And then for participating, you don't get money for it. You're just here to share your story.
We don't get a lollipop?
If I can find one by the end of the night, but I can't promise. Okay, and your participation is voluntary. If you don't feel comfortable sharing something, you don't have to. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and this information will be used for further research, and it can be shared with the university students and other researchers who are looking for other information in this field, and furthermore. Okay. So it's open to public.
Right.
And we really would like you to talk also to each other about what you think. But I know you're friends already. So maybe tell us how you know each other and how what your connection is to this area, this neighborhood.
Do you want to start there?
We know each other through here, but we also both go to the McGovern Park Senior Center.
Right.
It's about a mile from here.
Adele is engaged in lapidary work, which is working with stone. Cut it, shape it.
That hasn't.
Oh, that's not it.
And polish it, make things out of it. Not necessarily always jewelry. And she's also she's currently quilting a quilt by hand.
Forever.
Yes. There are also, and sometimes she will knit or crochet.
I don't knit at all, but I do crochet, and that's what I was doing today.
And they meet. The lapidary group meets on Tuesdays. They are on hiatus now for summer, and the knit crochet quilt group meets on Wednesdays.
Where do they meet?
At the McGovern Park.
At the McGovern Park Senior Center.
Oh, I see.
There's a crafts room.
And how long have you two known each other for?
About 7 years.
7 years.
We know each other from there and from here.
And you always come to the dinner here normally?
Usually.
What makes you come? What do you like about it?
Well, the people are nice. Tuesdays and Thursdays I play bingo. And
do you also come to the bingo night?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you come, George?
I have sometimes.
So
Ralph is his air caller.
And how long have you been living around here?
I lived here for 46 years almost. It'll be 46 years in the beginning of August.
And where I live, I've been there 58 years.
Is it in this neighborhood or?
It is south of Silver Spring, and then 5 blocks east of Sherman Boulevard. But it's part of my neighborhood. Neighborhood has concentric circles.
You don't live east of Sherman.
What? I mean west of Sherman. I get my words mixed up.
I do too.
Not my directions, my words.
I do too. So what do you think of this area, and you've lived here for a long time, do you think it has changed a lot?
Oh yeah, it has.
How has it changed?
Well, there was, now this is the best thing here. Before we had all kinds of things. There was there's a strip mall down a little further, and at the time it had a store called Arlen's, which was sort of like Target. It had a grocery store called Kroger, which I understand they have in Chicago yet, and different shops. On 39th and Florist was a small pharmacy. Across the street was what used to be called a dime store. And next to it was a laundromat. The laundromat is still there. There's nothing in it right now. The pharmacy is now a small grocery store. Next to it was a grocery store at the time. Now it's a daycare center. There was a daycare center across the street. A lot of the daycare centers in this area have closed because there was some corruption among daycare providers. Where Arlen's moved out, Pick and Save moved in. Pick and Save was there for a while. Walgreens moved in, thereby closing the small pharmacy. Then Walgreens moved a mile and a half away. So, and then a mile and a half in the other direction is there's a CVS right here. There's no laundromats. There's no pharmacies.
But there is a economical food market called Save Lot. Save a Lot.
Save a lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
I shopped there.
And I like to go there because they will take credit card, whereas Aldi, which is closer for me, I could walk there if the weather is not so hot like today, but they will only take cash or debit.
Yeah, well, I sometimes walk over to Aldi's if it's not this hot or unbearably cold. And,
If I'm a little ahead, then I will go there too. But not for.
Actually, I like Aldi's better than Save a Lot, but Save a Lot is closer.
Why do you
Depends.
Why do you think all the businesses changed or closed?
I don't know. What do you think, George?
What? Well, ethnic groups move in, ethnic groups move out.
So were there ethnic groups before, or
Yeah, we were.
I hope it got closed by itself like that he didn't close it like that.
This was a very segregated city at one time, and it's still considered segregated. It's not as bad as it was.
was the neighborhood also like this segregated, or
Pretty much so.
Well, this, back
Come on out
in,
here, y'all. It's a little bit better now.
We're
Ain't nobody here.
It's okay,
We're
we're
already
recording.
here. We're already here.
Good though. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back in 1954, this was primarily a white neighborhood. And where I live, now I'm the minority. And it is an eye-opener. It's an educational experience to be in the minority. And
How is it different living among minority?
I mean, just have to adjust, make adjustments. Instead of saying, "Good morning, neighbor, how are you?" I have learned to say, "Hi, how you doing?" Because it's the way the communication is.
When did that change? The neighborhood, the ethnic makeup?
It's been gradual,
Gradual.
yes. People age and move out, or die and move out, and people from the inner city who would like to live in a nice neighborhood instead of an inner city location with multi-family homes, usually two, but sometimes more. They come north, west, and northwest.
So you think like it's different? People have now different choice and accessibility that they want to get into. This why.
Right. This housing project, there is a plaque on the office, which is across the street and just down a little bit, a big brass or copper plaque that indicates that this housing project called Berryland was built to house veterans after World War II and the Korean War because there was a severe housing shortage. During the war, that's what I call it, these young men were drafted at maybe 18, 19, 20. They matured and they came back and they married and wanted to have family, but you have to have a place to live. So that was around the time this. I don't know, the date is on the plaque. I haven't photographed it yet. I want to.
I'll tell them that. Well, they probably know anyway.
And there have been.
They used to have, this was all military families, and they used to have this very small grade school that only went up to 3rd grade. And my daughters went to that school up to 3rd grade. My son only up to 1st grade, and then they tore it down. They put in a basketball court and a tennis court, which is pretty much run down now. So this is, the best thing. They have activities for kids. They have activities for adults. Kids can play basketball in there. I think sometimes they had adults playing basketball in there. They have a football team for the kids, and I think they have a baseball team for the kids.
And soccer.
And soccer too.
Yeah.
So this is a really nice gathering place for the community. Is there
Yes.
any other places like that around the
Not
community?
around here.
The community, the center, no. The housing project, yes.
The housing project, everybody thinks this is low income. It is not. You have to make $2,600 to live in Berryland here.
Yeah, minimum.
A minimum.
It used to be, this was the low income housing where it was a maximum amount. But, and this Berryland has been extensively remodeled, rebuilt, refurbished, updated, has high efficiency heating now, and everyone has their own little porch in front. And they have done that with North Lawn, Park Lawn. Park Lawn is on Sherman Boulevard, close to Capitol Drive. North Lawn is on Willard Avenue, and South Lawn is on the south side.
Now, West Lawn,
We-
they tore half of it down and they're building different types
Yes.
of
I have
buildings, senior
been
buildings and family
apprised
buildings.
that the city no longer owns the city housing projects. They sold them to someone who manages them, and they get a percentage of the rental.
Isn't it HUD housing, most of them?
Hmm?
Isn't most of it HUD housing? HUD, HUD?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. My grandmother lived in West Lawn. She was an elderly person. She was placed there by the Milwaukee City Housing Authority, and she had a one-bedroom apartment. The bedroom and the bathroom were upstairs. On the main floor there was a living room, a dinette, and a kitchen, and she had her own basement with her own heat. And the rent was $40 a month, forever. I don't know why they never raised it, but they never did.
Here the rent is $560 a month for a 2-bedroom and $660 for a 3-bedroom, $650, something like that. And you have to make $2,600 a month, which is more than 3 times my monthly income, so I couldn't even afford to live here. Although I have my own home, which is paid for, and it's only across the street from there.
I do believe that there's the welcome seniors as well as middle-income families. It's just that you have to meet the income requirements now.
How did you end up moving to where you live? Like, why did you move there?
Well, I was living on the east side. I had one child and a husband, and I was pregnant with my second child, and the place that we lived in was getting kind of small for us, and so we were looking around for another house and found this one, and I've lived there ever since.
In my case, my parents had been renting since they were married. Well, they lived twice. They lived upstairs with my father's parents. When I was born, they had a rental unit. We moved to another rental unit. But a man that my father worked with, both as a musician and in the factory, kept putting a bee in his bonnet, you could call it, got his attention, that it would be better to accumulate equity in a property than rent receipts. So my mother and dad began looking. My mother found the house I'm in. She loved it because of the way the rooms are arranged and that the bedrooms are upstairs and face west, so you get sunshine to kill the germs and so forth. So then I was tag along when they went together to look at it, and they decided. Yes.
How old were you at that time?
9.
No.
I was 9. I was 8 when they began looking. I turned 9 before we moved in.
So you lived in that house since then?
58 years. Yeah. And they were only just paving the streets when we moved in 1954. The alley had been paved in 1952. It's scratched in. You can still find it. And the sidewalks, I'm not sure. They may have gone in 52 also.
Do you know a lot of your neighbors?
Some of them, I mean, who have lived in the area for a long time.
For me, not as many as I did, say, 10 or 20 years ago. They've died or moved away. But I recognize my neighbors and greet them. And if I learn their names, then I greet them with the name. There's a man across my alley and one house to the south. His name is Fred. So I send them a Christmas card. I either say neighbor Fred or I say my neighbor's at. And I put the address.
Are they all young people around your neighborhood now?
He is 10 years younger than I am. He is disabled. His wife is still working. And their children are all the way out of the house. He's 50. Well, I don't know how old he is. He's 50-something. I'm 60-something. Next door to me is a duplex. We call it duplex in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It's a 2-family home. It was, the lot that it sits on was owned by the people who owned the house my parents bought. The lot was offered to my father, but my father said, no, I don't have enough money. So the lot was sold, and that 2-family home was built on it. It was initially owned by a farmer outside the city, someplace. Later on, there were the owners lived downstairs, and their daughter and her husband lived upstairs for a while. Now it's absentee landlord again. So,
The neighborhood started changing when they put notices in the post office that places were available in this area. And so a lot of the people who moved in were postal workers. And family who lived right directly across the street from us, the husband was the postal worker, the wife was a teacher, librarian, and one of the sons grew up to be the sheriff.
When was that? When did the postal workers come?
Trying to think. Maybe in the late 60s, early 70s.
That was after the military families.
Mm-hmm. Well, the military family, this area is still mostly,
Okay.
because this is Berryland, it's a housing project. I'm talking about across the street from there where I live.
Oh, I see.
With the private homes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Which one is the crossing street from your home?
Okay, this is Berryland where all the
Yeah.
apartment buildings are the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right across 40th Street are mostly single-family homes. There's a few apartments. Okay, I don't live on the corner of 40th and Call. This is Call Avenue, this street right
Not
out here.
48th.
No, I don't live on 48.
Hmm?
What? What 48?
You
48?
said 48th.
I did not.
Twice. Yes.
I said 48.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
I know where I
We'll
live,
play at
George.
that. I do it too.
Okay. I don't live on the corner of 40th and Call, but I live next to the corner.
Okay. She said it right though now.
I said it right all the time.
Maybe I hear wrong.
I think so.
Maybe.
So is it,
And I'm about I'm 5 houses and part of the alley south of Custer Avenue on 48th Street. And,
Well, that's where you get 48. You live on 48.
on the east side of the street. Two houses north of us, there was a bus driver and his family for many decades. 3 houses north of us, there was a Marquette University professor with a PhD in PH. He had a doctor of philosophy in philosophy, but you wouldn't know it. When he was around, he was just an ordinary guy. And north of them was a man that worked at Briggs and Stratton, where they made small engines. And next door to us was a couple. They had had a child, but the child did not survive. The man was working at a casket factory. He ran a machine that made moldings. And so he was a carpenter. You running out of time?
No,
His wife worked at a shoe factory. And every Friday, was it Friday evening or was it Thursday evening? She would sit at the kitchen table with a shoebox full of little slips, and she would have to tote them up, and that was how she got paid. Every little slip was a shoe, maybe just could have been one shoe or could have been a pair of shoes. But so let's see, the bus driver and his family were Polish. The next door neighbors were German. The Marquette University professor, French, probably originally French-Canadian. They were from Peshtigo. His wife is from Maryland, not necessarily directly in Baltimore, but they had met while he was doing something in Washington, D.C.
Like, are some of these people still
No,
there?
they're all deceased except the wife of the professor. She's living in the Milwaukee Catholic Home on Prospect Avenue, just north of North Avenue.
what other places here do you go to? I know you come here for dinner, and you mentioned you go to some of the supermarkets.
I'm also on the board, community advisory board here. So are Carol and Ralph and there was about 12 of us.
Everybody can be and anybody can be.
Yeah.
I could if I wanted
Oh
to
yeah,
be.
if you want to be part of the community advisory board, the only requirement is that you show up for the meeting.
What are the meetings about?
Well, different things that they plan. We've had everything from ice cream socials to movies to. We used to have every year we have a May Day Mambo, which was usually a dance, and we've had karaoke parties. We've had what should I say? Health fairs we've had, and we had a nice program Saturday. Which was about breast cancer, and it was well attended. And I don't know whether the community advisory board had any say in this. They always meet on Thursdays, and I have choir practice on Thursday. So
Oh, you sing in a choir.
Yes.
Where does the choir? Where?
this is Our Lady of Good Hope. It's on 41st and Good Hope, and but they're not singing during the summer. Although 4 of us were in church. It's a great big huge church, and so they have 3 services. 2 on Sunday, 1 on Saturday. So there was about 4 of us went to the Saturday service last week, and we sat together and sang together.
Which church is it? Is it here?
Yeah, it's on 41st and Good Hope, about a
Good
mile
Hope
and a half
Road.
from here. And it's a big round church. Looks like they say it looks like a UFO with a cross on the top. There's at least three churches that look like UFOs with a cross on the top.
So why did you choose that one to go to?
Is it like a new building or something that you call it a
No, it was built in the 60s. Yeah.
How long have you been going there for?
Just about, not even a year. Yeah, about a year.
Oh, just a year.
Yeah, because the church I used to go to closed.
Oh, why did it close?
Because it had too few parishioners, and the parishioners that were there were mostly elderly, and they didn't make enough money from contributions to pay for the upkeep of the church.
Was that church also here, Ron?
Right?
Was that church also around here, or
It
is
was
it?
about a mile and a half in the other direction. Everything around here is about a mile and a half from here.
Well, when I was a child, we were mobile by buses, electric buses, trolley buses, or diesel or gasoline buses. Now we're mobile by cars, except for Adele right now. She did drive at one time, and I drive a car that's older than her grandchildren.
How do you get around, Adele?
Mostly I walk or take the bus, depending on how far it is.
So you do go to a lot of places here that are very local.
The senior center is exactly a mile from my house.
Do you walk there?
Yeah.
Do you guys meet every like weekly basis or monthly? Like
the
the
senior
meeting? Yeah.
Well, they have all kinds of activities. Right now, I'm only going there once a week, and that's on Wednesdays. And when Lapidary starts up again, I'll be going on Tuesday and Wednesday.
And you walk to church as well?
Usually I get a ride.
You get a ride. Where else do you go around here?
Shopping. There isn't too much around here, but like I said, there was more stuff here when I moved here.
Oh yes, there used to be a grocery store, a grocery market, small supermarket on 51st and Villard. There was one on 54th and Villard, I think that was, or 53rd. There was one. There were several along Villard Avenue. This way, they change. They come and go, or they change ownership. There used to be a dime store, aka variety store, on Hopkins Street, south of Hampton Avenue, and the same name on Villard Avenue, right at the junction with 36th Street. There were Winky's dime stores. My mother and I were habitants of both of them. The one you could pay the utility bills at, and you could buy stamps. Used to be, there is now Midtown Center, that used to be Capitol Court Shopping Center, which gradually enlarged and then gradually died. And they tore it down completely, recycled everything that was in it, from which it was constructed, and now there is a Walmart facing north, and then behind the Walmart there's a Pick and Save facing south, and it is in the style of new shopping centers where instead of everything being under one roof, you walk around as if it is a little town.
How do you both like feel about the changes? Is it like, do you wish it to be like the same as before, or you just adjust to the changes?
Not especially.
Like,
No. It's just change is life. Life is change. From the day we are born, we change. I don't look a thing like I was the day I was born.
I bet you didn't have any more hair then.
I'm not sure. You'd have to find out the 800 number for heaven and call my mother.
Just neither did I.
So, everything is changing. Used to be the saying is for some people is still, the only thing you can depend on is death and taxes. I don't say that anymore. The only thing you can depend on is change. Not always for the better. It's not always progress. What is termed as progress isn't necessarily. It depends on their point of view.
You feel the same way?
I know.
There used to, I went to a grade school that's on 41st and 42nd and Silver Spring Drive for 4th, 5th, and 6th grades. Now it's closed. I went to 1 year of junior high school in the old Custer High School, which had been remodeled, added to, and converted into a junior high school.
And a grade
Now,
school.
It's what?
There's a grade school in there too.
It's closed.
The grade school is closed?
What?
Barack Obama grade school?
What?
Barack Obama grade school. It's
Where was that?
in the old Custer High School building.
I didn't know that. All I know is when I go by it, it's empty. Across the street from the old Custer High School was a Lutheran church. They merged with another Lutheran church, and now it's a Baptist church. Change. The bank used to be on 30. The neighborhood bank used to be on 36th and Villard. They tore down an old church, and the bank is still there in that place. I don't go to it because they don't even turn the lights on. And it takes forever to get through the drive-through. So I go to, if I need to go banking, which I usually don't, I go to Bayshore. Where there used to be a restaurant and a bakery, it's now part of, it's connected to a building next door, and you can buy tropical fish and exotic animals, pets there. Yeah. So on one corner on 35th and Villard, there used to be what you could term, well, it was called Badger Paint Store. They sold paint, but they also sold hardware. It was a general merchandise store for homeowners to get things.
The Villard Library is in the third place.
Yes.
Since I've been living
Yeah,
there.
the Villard Library is in its third location. The post office was
I liked how realistic the face
where the Guarantee Bank is. Then they moved it across the street. Now it's down this way.
It's in the first floor of a building that's dedicated to grandparents raising their grandchildren.
That's the library.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
and
I didn't know that part. I knew there were 3 or 4 floors of apartments above the library, and I saw it being built, and I said, oh, that's great. Nice frame structure that burns down and burns on the library, but they put a lot of concrete. I don't know how much, between the apartments and the library. This is probably a way to support the library, because it was all our older library, where the building is still there, was almost closed about 10 years ago.
that was Scott Walker's thing.
No, the libraries belong to the city.
I know, but see, well, he was county executive at the time.
I know, but was it his idea or was it the mayor's
yes,
idea?
it was his idea.
Okay, I didn't know. All I know is there was enough.
Most evil plans were hatched by him.
There was enough outcry that the library had reduced hours, adjusted hours. No, never was open on Sunday. Would be closed on Saturday during the summer. The new library is open more and longer.
A bunch of us, well, they got up a bus going from Florist Avenue Church, which is just on 40th and Florist, and we went down to the city hall and sat in a meeting because we didn't want our library closed. And he wanted to close it because he said it was the least used library in the city. Come to find out, he wanted to close all of the libraries except for the Central Library and the suburban libraries, including the Forest Home Library, which was the most used library in the city.
This is Scott Walker.
This is Scott Walker.
Our dearly beloved governor.
So that was like 10
That's-
years ago?
No,
No, I don't know how long ago.
I think it was
a pretty
approximately-
long time ago.
yeah, and I used to go there. That's where I taught myself how to use the internet. And I would see one particular elderly man had put casters on a plastic lawn chair, the stackable kind. They come in white and green and other
Yeah.
colors. And he would have this VHS cassettes he was bringing back in the chair. He would return them, then he'd push the chair over to where the VHS cassettes were, sit in his chair and look, and push himself around and get his tapes. And so there were a lot of senior citizens who were coming there to get tapes to keep themselves occupied and entertained. So that was, I didn't know about the meeting. I would have been there, I think, maybe. I myself would bring some tapes home.
I mean,
And
some
I
of the
had other
libraries he
with
wanted
it.
to close were new libraries. Some of the libraries he wanted to close were new libraries. He wanted to close them all except Central and the suburban.
Well, he
Libraries.
is, he calls himself a conservative. It seems like the conservatives want to conserve the suburbs and they could care less about the city. That's my point of view of this current governor and our former county executive. You go back to 1900, there was a vice president who became president when our president was assassinated in Buffalo, New York. He was a very unique man, Theodore Roosevelt. He was out hunting in North Dakota or Montana when the word got out to him that he should get back to Washington because he was president. He was not a very well boy, so he exercised, he did swimming, he was a rugged individualist, and his idea was rugged individualism. He was the first president of the United States to go outside the country while he was still a president. He brokered peace between Japan and Russia in 1905, and for that he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
I did
He
not know that.
was responsible for the construction of the Panama Canal. It takes a long time to explain how the shenanigans that were gone through to get it done, but he did go down and visit it. And there's a picture of him in a white suit with a white hat in a grimy, dirty, coal-burning steam locomotive that's on rails that dug the canal,
So,
which
George
was
knows
made here
everything
in
about
Milwaukee County.
trolleys and trains.
Hmm?
I said, you know everything about trolleys and trains.
Well, that too.
Also, he was a history teacher, or at least
I
he
was,
was a practice teacher.
I was educated to be a history teacher, a secondary education teacher. I just did not pursue it. 2 weeks after I graduated, I got my draft notice, and 2 weeks after that, I called the Navy recruiter and explained the situation. He said, "Yeah, come on over." So I didn't want to get drafted and sent to Vietnam, so I joined the Navy for 4 years instead. 4 years active duty.
so
Meanwhile, I was out protesting the war.
really,
I always say that my son was born a month late because he was influenced in the boom. He kept hearing, "Hell no, I won't go."
Was that here? You were here when you were protesting?
Yeah.
Were there a lot of people in this area that were
Well,
doing that?
most of the protests were downtown or
Uh-huh.
like at the universities, and
Was it
Stuff like that.
11 or 15 here that burned their draft cards?
I don't know.
Here?
Yeah, in Milwaukee, downtown.
This center wasn't here.
No, it was outside.
But in this neighborhood.
No,
So you mean
it was
like here in the
downtown.
neighborhood?
All the way down.
Okay.
Outside the building in which the draft board was located at that time. And there were men that ran away to Canada to avoid being served.
For a while, you could go. My brother went into college because for a while you could delay your being drafted if you were in college.
Yes, I had a student deferment for 5 years. I lost it the last half year. Took me 5.5 years to get my 4-year degree because I had to take minimum credit load because I am a slow reader, and I changed minor, and I took 2 semesters of German that I didn't need because a friend of mine took it and I thought he was in the same program that I was, and he wasn't. So, but it was good for me because I enlisted at a higher rank with higher pay, although I couldn't put the stripes on until after I finished basic training. And after basic training, I was guaranteed a school, and they trained me to be a Navy supply clerk. So after they finished that, they sent me to Hawaii for 2 years, and I sat at a desk. Most of that time, I sat at a desk facing a Japanese woman that reminded me of my mother. Straight, black hair, and dark eyes. And a very caring person who had 2 daughters. I would come in on Monday morning, she'd say, "Well, George, what did you do this weekend? Where did you go? Where have you been?" Or somebody bring me my mail and my face would light up like a Christmas tree. "Oh, you got a letter from your mother." She was born in Hawaii. She was a native-born American, but after the attack on Pearl Harbor, she had to wear a placard on her that said, "I am an enemy alien."
What?
Yeah,
For real?
yes, for real.
Every day?
Throughout the war. She was a girl. She was still in school. Well, how old she was, I don't know.
They did stuff like that?
Yes, well, we had the internment camps in Oregon and California.
Oh, and I did not know about that till I was in college.
Yes, I know.
34 years old, I'm finding out that this country had internment camps.
I learned about that while I was in high school.
There was
And-
no such thing in my kids' high school books, or mine, of
It
course.
wasn't in
either.
the books either. It was just so happened that there was a boy in the school who had been born in one of the internment camps. Lance Miyazaki. She and her siblings.
Just like it's about 7 o'clock, and some people from the center are looking to. So if you could like maybe exchange phone numbers or something like that.
Just want to say that Chioko and her family had bought their father a radio for his birthday. It cost $40 on time payment. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the military confiscated the radio, but they still had to continue making the payments. So this is, because, we had never been attacked on any of our own territory, even though Hawaii is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and is considered the most isolated set of islands in the world.
For real?
For real, yeah. It's farther from any land than mainland than Iceland or
Okay.
anything else. It's yeah.
I have only a vague idea where different places are.
Well, I was very fortunate to get around as much as I did.
I think we need to wrap up.
Yeah, I know. They say they want to lock
Yeah.
up the place.
But thank you so much for talking with us.
Okay.
I was wondering if we could possibly get your contact information.
Okay, sure.
Is it okay, like, if we have more questions, or if we, and also, I know that, towards the end of the project, there will be some open nights where they'll be presenting, you know, like, what they found, and so we would like to invite you. Is that possible?
Sure.
Would you mind? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have time yet?
Yeah. Did they agree to share their information? This review? Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
My telephone number is 414-466-5829.
George, right?
George Gross, Gross.
Okay.
My address is 5334 North 48th Street, and the zip code is 53218.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Adele McCrank.
Capital M, small c, capital C, small R-A-N-K.
Thank you, George.
What is your phone number?
We're winding down.
Yeah,
Are you staying after 7?
no, we're leaving.
We're
I think our group is going after this
Okay.
interview.
No, I'm not trying
Okay.
to rush you. I'm just letting you know that
414.
we closed 7, but yesterday,
462.
actually, y'all had permission to stay until 8. So I just wanted-
4518.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
4518. Okay.
And my address is 3931 West Call Avenue, Kaul. And my zip code is 53209.
53209. Great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for
Well,
your
you're
time.
welcome.
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
It was a pleasure to hear Adele's stories because some of them are new to me.
Well, some of your stories are certainly new to me, too.
That's great.
So I think it's good
Yeah,
to get together and
for
talk about it
everybody.
more.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is why I have no. My parents are gone. My father's brothers and sisters are gone. Brothers and sister are gone. My mother's aunts and uncles are gone. My father's aunts and uncles are gone. My grandparents have gone a long time, and I have a few cousins. So I think I have 3 families. Or do I have 4 now? I have my family at church, my family at McGovern, my family here at Agape, and then I have my family, which I hardly ever see.
Yeah, me too.
Or hear from.
It's very nice that to have so many families.
Well, yes, and in each, what would you call it, location or group gathering place, we care about one another. We're concerned about one another. Someone doesn't show up for 3 weeks, whether it's church or McGovern or Agape. Well, gee, where's so and so? What happened to so and so? That it just comes
That's
up.
really nice that you have family.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's nice that you have someone to look out and notice that you're not there. Or
Yes. I was not at McGovern for 2 days in a row, and my neighbor down the alley on the other side of the block from me called me, wanted to check on me.
That's really nice.
Nice.
Maybe it surprised me, really.
It's
And I
nice.
was periodically when I do not want to drive my car, or for some reason I don't want to walk or
I
cannot
thought
walk.
your car was dead now.
No, it's
It's
out,
still alive.
it's over there.
It is, huh?
Yeah, it's just there's no right window. The rear window I leave open, and the front left window will not close. It's open that far all the time. So
You know what? I really gotta leave now.
yeah, I know.
Let's go.
We
Thank you
should
so
all get
much.
out of here so they
They
can
can-
secure the property, so to speak.
Thank you for
Thank you
talking
so
to
much.
us.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
too.
you.
And thank you for the efforts you're putting forth in doing this study.
Of course.
Thank you for
We're learning a
pushing.
lot.
I never knew about this.
Thank you so much. We hope to
As
see you
much
next
of a
time.
neighborhood as it was. I always considered it to be a little group of buildings.
Good night.
That
Good night.
I thought it was a school for special children.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay, there's, see, we're not the only ones. They're
Yeah.
still talking away over there.
Yes.
Okay. Well, good night, George. Thank you
Yeah,
so
good
much.
night.
Well, good night.
It was lovely to meet you.
Oh, good
Thank
to meet
for
you too.
sharing.
Yes.
And
And
hopefully our paths will
let
cross
me take
again.
my hat off and for both of you and say good
Oh,
night.
thank you so much. Good
Looking
night.
around here somewhere, George, I think
Night.
is checking the surroundings of the building. And